Man, I got this really nice camera, but I don't know how to use it.
Hey, what's up? Trevor. What's up, dude? I heard you needed some camera help.
Yeah.
Today, in this video, we're going to show you guys how to take better photos.
Alright, so we have my friend Layla here posing for us, and you want to make sure that it's not centered on the camera screen, as you can tell, but you want to make sure that your focus point is centered so that when you focus on your object, it'll be good. Now, the sunlight is facing my face, and as you can tell, Layla's like, yeah, this is not good. So you should switch spots with her to where the sun is now at your back, or in this case, my back, and the sunlight is right directly on her face. Now, you can either do this in the shade, or you can do it like this. Now, I can just focus on my composition now that the lighting is a lot better in this scenario, adjust my settings if necessary, and take the shot. Now, I'm going to move a little bit closer to take the shot because there is a shadow from me on the lower part of her body, so might as well get closer and take the better shot, and just keep in mind that the composition is important in this case.
So one thing that's important when it comes to portraiture, if you're trying to take better portraits, is knowing how to position your subject. So in this case, I'm going to take Layla's headshot here. I'm going to show you guys how I would do it. Layla, I want you to stand right there. So what's important when taking a headshot is that you shoot, it's a headshot, it's not a full body shot, but like let's say you're taking a profile photo, you want to back up enough to where you can get your whole subject in focus and you can get the full body. So like this. And don't be afraid to get close to your client when you're taking shots. So in this case, it's a headshot. So let's say that was a profile shot that you wanted. We're gonna do a headshot now. So that's gonna require me to just, you're gonna be up close. It's gonna be a little uncomfortable, but it's gonna make for a good picture. You got it. So some key things to remember, I'll show you guys the shots we got here. You can see that. So this is the shot that I took of Layla just now. And you have the full body shots. One thing to keep in mind is that when you're taking your photos, you want to make sure that your subject is centered. Now if you have your subject off-centered, that's fine, but making sure that your subject is centered in the photo, like when you go to edit later on, you can adjust your composition. Now the composition is how you're going to frame everything that you're trying to take a photo of. So in the case of me, I like to usually set my subjects in the center of the frame, and then from there, if I want to put them to the left or right in post when you're cropping, you can put them off to the left, right, top, bottom, whatever you want to do on this video. It's the same thing with portraits, because if something is well lit, it'll be easier to edit it later on. Now if you shoot a photo a little bit darker, and not too dark, but to the point where it's like maybe like in the shade or something, it's a lot easier to lighten that in post later on, because that shadow, there's still data you can work with there, and like that's a whole nother thing to go for a topic for a different day. But being able to light your subject more in post and make it brighter is easier than making it less bright and darkening the photo, because when you darken the photo, if you have that bright spot, it's just going to continue to be a spot when you darken it. So things that we learned in this video is that, you know, light is very important when it comes to the photos, along with your composition. Those two things are some of the most important things. Those are like the most important things you can learn when it comes to starting out in photography. Having good composition and knowing where to put light or how to shape it is important, because it'll help you have well-balanced photos. Besides that, learning your camera is really important. There's a bunch of different settings your camera has that is going to help you become a better photographer. So starting out, there's different modes. You have auto, which is what I was shooting in today. You have program, you have aperture priority, and you have shutter priority. Usually on the camera, it's marked as AV, TV, S, A, or auto, and then program's usually just P. Now, the good thing about aperture priority and shutter priority, which is A and S, is that it helps you in different areas. So shutter priority is good for when you're doing fast action, moving objects, sports, stuff like that, because it tells you how fast you're going to click off that camera shutter and whatever speed that you may want it to either slow down an object, freeze an object. Now, when it comes to A, that's aperture. Now, aperture is good for light. So this well-balanced room right now, whether you're shooting photo or video, aperture priority is probably your best bet, because you're not really focused on the action of how things look, but you're rather more focused on how much light you're letting in. Now, this helps with portraits because you're letting light come into through the camera, and yeah, it just creates for a much better photo. Besides that, When you shoot, people used to shoot film, and with that, RAW is your best bet when it comes to shooting portraits, because RAW is like a film negative to where you get the most data possible, and it's uncompressed. Now we can talk about that in a later video, but I really hope you guys learned something today, and I'll see you guys next time.